it was interesting because, you're in team meetings, you're in quarterback meetings, you're in the weight room, you're in the locker room, you're on the field. It's not always just, what's going on the field, but off the field as well with leadership. And it was really neat for me to be able to try to figure out what my leadership style was and what worked for me as a leader on that team. It was really neat. I played for a lot of head coaches, had a lot of leaders, different leadership styles in my life. 2 guys I played for here, Brian Kelly, who's at Notre Dame, Butch Jones, who's at Tennessee. I kind of had an idea of what I liked in a leader and what kind of motivated me, but I never really thought about it until I took this class. Everyone probably has similar examples to that. You've had leaders in your life, bosses, teachers, whatever it can be, peers that show leadership qualities, things that you are attracted to, and you don't even realize what it is until you have to stop and think about it. Maybe some of you haven't even thought about what made me, want to follow that person or, was attracted to that person. I didn't really think about it until I was 22 years old, and this might have been my last leadership class that I took, my last communication class that I took, and I didn't think about what made a good leader until I got to this point, which when I was almost done with college. And then from that point, once I started doing that, I noticed that situations where teammates would start asking me more questions about plays or, what I'm thinking as a quarterback. All those things started to come more, probably because I was paying attention to it more, but I realized that if I'm willing to pay the price, these guys will trust me, and it shows because they're asking me for advice. Something else that I thought about that was important to leadership was your communication style. Not everyone's going to be, a rah-rah speaker. I'm referring a lot of this to football because that was a lot of what I could take this class and translate it to. Not everyone's going to be a rah-rah speaker or be a great motivational speaker, or even like to speak in public for that matter. But there's different ways that you can talk to people, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's a few people, whether it is the whole group. And the ways that you speak to them, both non-verbally and verbally, will dictate the type of leadership style that you will have. Another thing that I saw with leadership, especially with the head coaches that I had, was the time that they were willing to put in. Going along with paying the price, they were able to not only put in the time, but also delegate that power. That shows leadership as well. Having different coaches on the staff, having an offensive coordinator, I had a quarterback coach, a strength coach, all these people that had different roles that they were willing to delegate and show that they're not afraid to give up pieces of their power to lead a football team. And the same thing in a classroom or a group, anything like that. If you guys can agree with your roles on a team, who's doing what piece of the project and actually be accountable for those roles, that shows leadership as well. And now carrying that forward, it's still, every day that's kind of evolving for me, my leadership style. I thought about with that paper that I wrote, can leaders be born, or is it something that you can develop, leadership style? And I kind of went with the approach that a little bit of both. There are certain qualities that people are born with, but a lot of those can be developed as well, public speaking, dedication to things, but a lot of that is innate, just the type of person that they are. I'm kind of learning more about that right now as well, because I'm figuring out that there are more and more things that I can develop as a leader. I can delegate power more. I can, become a better speaker. I can put more time into the playbook that I have or into the job that I have. All those things keep developing. So, as I was thinking about that paper that I wrote, leaders have to be born, but a little bit of that can be cultivated and developed. I'm kind of more influenced now that, anyone can become a leader in a certain capacity, and they're not necessarily born. That's something that can be developed. It's a trait, just like anything else. If it's, writing or speaking or anything, those things that you can develop. I think leadership is a skill that can be developed as well by anyone. A lot of the great coaches and even someone like John Kohavi, leaders that I've seen in my life, people that are willing to do the same things that you will. If it's someone that's, you're a principal at a high school and you're willing to, wash the bathrooms or scrub the toilets, or I guess in my circumstance, being able to help a freshman, which doesn't sound like a big deal, help a freshman with his playbook when I was here at Central Michigan. A lot of guys that are older, they're more worried about their time on the field and preparing themselves to play. But if you're willing to help the next generation to get better, things like that, those are kind of the principles that I see. A lot of good things that we did, or that I we were doing as a football team, and at that time we're helping in the community, whether it's Thanksgiving drives or Christmas drives, going to recess to schools to go have fun with kids at the elementary schools, being able to serve that way. I think that's a good demonstration of being a role model for others and showing that it's good to give back.